Corvette, but the Peter Dunbrek car, the JRM HBD car, that's made an improvement the last couple of laps and moved off the tail end of the cars in LMP1. 22 car now 11th quickest, 3 minutes 37. So he's clipped, I think, a second or two from that time earlier on.
Yeah, Manu Collard is at the moment the bottom of that pile, 13th of the 13 runners in that Pescarola 03 car, what was last year's Aston Martin ARM1, a car that Aston Martin would prefer to forget, but it's come back to haunt them both in this this chassis and of course in the Delta Wing. Yeah, and Dominic Kreiheimer also has improved in the Oak chassis, kind of 15, also in LMP1. That's improved to 3 minutes 37.307, so just a couple of hundredths of a second between those two cars on the last lap. And that great battle in P2. It's John Martin for ADR Delta. There's got a Orica Nissan fastest at the moment, a 3:38.1, and Matthew Leahy in the Morgan Judd, by the way, not a Nissan engine, and car number 24 for Oak Racing. The other Oak Racing Morgan, the number 35 car, is running with a Nissan engine, but the 24 car is running with an Orica, with a Judd engine, I should say, and that is second quickest in the class at 3 minutes 38.5. Third fastest in the Signatech Orica Nissan, car number 26. But we saw Nelson Pensatici put that car into the gravel to cause one of the stoppages for that red flag, what, about a half an hour ago.
I'm going to give a little apology because apparently they're not, this is not the first time Audi's had 4 cars. I thought it was. I had some information to tell me that it was actually, and I should have done my own research.
Gianmaria Bruni, the faces are quite smiley now in your team. It took a long time to get the 51 out, but now it's running.
Yes, I mean, the chassis just came this morning, 9 o'clock. The people start to work in the car. It was brand new chassis, and it was without everything. So they rebuilt completely in less than 9 hours the car, and so it's really, really impressive from the AF Corse mechanics, I have to say. It's more than a victory in the pole for them. I mean, it's an unbelievable job at the moment. Now Tony is doing an installation lap. He will be here now in a few minutes in the box, and after he will go out again for a few laps. So I'm happy. Then we can start our weekend right now.
40 minutes around are left in the session. So what can you do now?
I mean, basically for qualifying we cannot do anything because we changed chassis. So the rules is anyway we start last. At least we can do a few laps. He can qualify because he needs to qualify for night practice for the race. And in the same time, we will check the car.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Jimmy Bruni there telling us just 9 hours. They managed to rebuild that car, but it's something. And as Liz said, straight back into the pits after an installation lap, check for everything, particularly leaks, I should imagine. That's going to be one of the main things. Make sure there's no oil or water leaks.
Oh, absolutely. And just making sure that everything is tight and as it should be, nothing's loose. Oh, we've got a puncture here.
Labra Corvettes. It's had to do half a lap like that. And,
is he just coming into pits?
And that's interesting. Do you remember last year we had a lot of punctures here, didn't we? And we've had, that's the first one I can remember seeing this weekend. And we talked about a little earlier on here, maybe that Michelin have been a little bit more conservative with their tyres this year than perhaps for the prevailing conditions, which are a little bit cooler perhaps than sometimes, but really not much. But I wonder whether it's because there were so many punctures last year.
Possibly, but we have. I
hadn't really thought about that until
no, you're absolutely right. I hadn't either. And then when you said it, I thought, gosh, you're right, because we had loads last year, didn't we? But then it wasn't a very hot year last year. So, but then now we don't have half as many cars on Michelin as we had last year as well. All of LMP2, I think, is on Dunlop this year, whereas last year we had a big majority of those still on Michelin and various other tires. So I don't know if that's maybe different, but then maybe we've gone both directions now, Jeremy, because now everybody's complaining about getting grip into their tires. They can't seem to get any wear into them, whereas last year we had so many punctures. So maybe we've gone the opposite direction to avoid the problem from last year.
Well, we talked to David Brabham earlier, and Brabham was saying, you know, it's terrible, you know, I'm running 45s, and
he said I'm absolutely terrified, didn't he? He said that. He said I'm terrified.
He said, no, I don't know what Stracker's got that's so good. I went and had a chat with Johnny Kay, and he said, I'm doing 40s and I'm terrified.
And for those guys to be terrified, it's got to be scary.
Let's just have a quick look at GT while we're looking at the 51 car, just getting its first service. Dominic Farnbacher in that Farnbacher Ferrari still at the top of the pile. That's not going to change tonight, is it? Adrian Fernandez in the Aston Martin, and Spencer Pumpelly in the AM car. Great performance by him. Of course, he was last year.
Patrick Pilo set that time yesterday.
He set the time, but Spencer is going to be on pole position. That's something coming first.
We've got a car in the gravel. The number 30 car of Roman Iannetta is in the gravel, and they're snatching it. We can see there now. And it looks like it's touched the barrier as well. It's not going to be good news for that team.
No, that's the Status Grand Prix team. And Romain, his uncle raced here in the Rondo, I guess, back in the 80s, in Group C era. So he's here this weekend cheering on his nephew.
And he, in fact, shared a car with me in 2007.
Who did?
Roman Iannetta.
Roman did it, okay.
Yes. In the Noel Del Bello car.
So it's very much a family affair, isn't it? Race director's getting a bit excited tonight. He's everything that's happening, he's letting the whole pits know. Sorry, we sometimes talk over it, but we don't get warning of when that happens. Just
and we do try and tell you if it's something interesting, because we can usually still hear it. Sometimes the race director does repeat the same topic over and over again, which is for the team's benefit, because most of these teams, or all of them, will have a signal for the race director in one of their ears in their headsets. Especially the team manager will always have that. So it's for the benefit of the teams that they repeat it a few different times.
Yeah, we're just talking about families for a moment, weren't we? You mentioned about Roman Iannetta. A lot of family connections. Sebastian Buemi in the Toyota, of course, his cousin is Natasha Gashnang, who raced here last year in the Ford. Jordan Taylor, of course, son of Wayne Taylor. Kazuki Nakajima, son of Satoru. You've got Maxime Martin, the Belgian racing, and his father and uncle. Thank you. We all got that one. Maxime Martin.
So that'll be a slow-moving car of Roman Iannetta making his way back to the pits. Not entirely sure where that was on the circuit. I didn't see it. Oh, it says he's rejoined.
We saw a car on board here.
42. So,
really? Right.
Mark, perhaps you can tell us exactly where that is.
42. That's first chicane.
So he's got a long way around to go if he's moving slowly, which it sounds like he is, because they've asked him to stay off the racing line. So that's going to potentially wreck some lap times here if someone catches him in a corner. But then at the same time, guys, we're not seeing anybody at the top throwing any crazy times at the moment. We thought we might have seen that, but it's not been.
I reckon it's going to be another 15 or 20 minutes before.
Right at the end, maybe just put in something special at the end.
I do. I think quite a few cars, they've done their job. They're going to get off the racetrack, get out of the way for those last 10, 15 minutes. Yes, that's what I hope, and I hope we have a little bit of a shootout there. I think it'd be a lot of fun for us to watch, and hopefully we can pass along a little bit of that excitement. Meanwhile, Dominic Kreihammer, talked to him a little while ago. He's made another improvement in car number 15 for the Oak Pestarolo chassis. He's now got down into 335, 335.8 for him. So still
gone back ahead of Dunbreck again.
Yeah, that's right.
Stuart Hall's back out again in the Pescarolo, although we did actually see Manu Collard being strapped in, didn't we? So maybe just the transponder's been
well, that was quite a while ago we saw him in. So what I think is happening is they've probably put Manuel Collard in the car to get his qualifying laps in, and they've put Stuart back in because he's had no running in this car. Stuart has truly spent no time at all. He was a last-minute addition. So they're probably saying, right, Stuart, you get your laps in, get comfortable, and away you go.
And here's a question. We haven't seen Jean-Christophe Bouillon on the car yet tonight, have we? So
we haven't. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah. So Jan Charouz in that 25 Oreca Nissan, still at top of the pile, leading P2. It's Dominic Farnbacher at the moment in the pole car for GT Pro, and Spencer Pumpelly for Pro-Am. We're going to take a break. Back in a minute for the final half hour. Welcome back to Le Mans, and this is all the fun of the fair tonight here in the last 30 minutes of qualifying. We'll have had 10 hours of practicing qualifying even before we get to the warm-up, and Just looking at the pictures, this is the view from our cabin.
It is, in fact. Yeah, we're just looking out there. Hello. Yeah, it's actually quite a sight at night, I have to say, and it's one of those things that you do notice as a driver. I've always noticed the Ferris wheel when you're coming along down towards the Ford chicane. It's not that you turn around and stare at it and go, oh, isn't that lovely? But you do sort of notice it, and it gives you that Le Mans feel. It's not something you sort of find anywhere else in the world, I think, really, at any 24-hour, and it's a special little part of it.
Yeah. Oh, Sebring's pretty special.
Oh, of course it is.
Green Park.
The inside of the track of Sebring is very special indeed.
It's called officially Green Park, but everyone else knows it as the zoo, don't they?
Yes.
We're just seeing the running order there, and that pesky Toyota just spoiling out his 1, 2, 3, 4. Is Ollie Jarvis going to be sent out to try and make it all 2 rows, or do you think, Jeremy, this stage of the night, everyone said, no, that's fine, we're happy, we're all in race trim?
I don't know. I think in this last half an hour we're going to see a few guys going out there and trying to lay down a lap. I think I'd be surprised certainly if the Toyotas didn't do that. Anthony Davidson, I think, is at the wheel of the number 8 car right now. I think he's just gone out fairly recently.
Literally going out as we came back on air. So.
Yeah, okay, fine. And I'm sure, you know, whether it be Alex Wurtz in car number 7 or Nicolas Lapierre, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, but I'd love it to go for those guys to go out there and just try and lay down a lap.
Well, we're seeing another report of a car going straight on at one of the chicanes, and that's the number 12 car. We've just seen endless amounts of cars going off, more so than I normally remember seeing at this stage. And it looks like we're going to get an interview with Giancarlo Fisichella, who did crash that 51 car last night. The car is back out and running. It is amazing, and we're very much looking forward to hearing what he has to say, Mark.
Yeah. Has he got his spaghetti apron on?
Wow. Well, I'm sure they'll manage to forgive him somehow. They'll have to, and he's going to have to pull it through for the team now. These things happen sometimes in racing. It's why there's that phrase, that's racing.
Great on-board shots then riding on the 74 Corvette as we go and see Fisichella.
Giancarlo Fisichella just climbed out of the car number 71. I think you did your 5 laps in the night.
Yeah, actually 6, which is enough to qualify ourselves for the race. Unfortunately, yesterday I had a bad accident. It was not a big impact, but the impact was exactly on the rear wheels, and unfortunately the chassis was broken. This morning came another chassis from Piacenza. The mechanics did such a fantastic, great job. They built the car ready to get out 20 minutes ago. We expect to be like that for the warm-up of tomorrow. Incredible. Thank you to all of them. I qualify with the other cars just to be sure. We got the pace even to start from the last position to do well. So I'm really confident, comfortable.
When did you hear about the news that the 51 was back on track? Did they tell you over the radio?
Yeah, I knew about around 10:30. But to be sure, I jumped on the car number 71. So everything is going well now. Everybody are more relaxed. Just be concentrate very well for the race. I'm sure the result it's possible to do.
We see that it's more relaxed in the team now.
Absolutely. The mechanics are tired, unfortunately, but again, they did a fantastic job. I thanks 1,000 times all of them.
Thank you very much.
That was a big call today, wasn't it? Getting that car ready again. Remember, Giancarlo and this car the team were second in GT Pro last year, got beaten by the Corvette. This year they'd love to come back and do it. They're not in a bad position now. They've got a completely brand new car. Everything's ready for the race, Jeremy, and raring to go on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and to prove a point too, you're absolutely right. I mean, 2 of those drivers, like we said, have crashed that car within the past 2 weeks. So Tony Wieland is the only one who hasn't. But it's going to be a strong car. We know the Ferrari is a strong car. We know they're 3 great drivers. We know it's a great team. So absolutely, they will be in contention.
I think the team orders now are going to be, look after that car. Do not wreck it. Get your laps in. Do a decent time, but don't worry too much about where you qualify. It's 24 hours. We're back up and running.
This car hasn't been out for a while, and look at it. They've just rushed it out the garage. It looks like they've got some
Stuck some tyres on it.
And have they sent McNish out? He was in it. I don't know. Let's wait to see if the transponder tells us it's going to be Alan or Tom.
No, that's number... Yeah. I'm not not sure. I think it must be McNish. That's what it says on our screen.
Too much light from the garage, couldn't quite see the headlights. They're still showing McNish on the transponder, so little Al's been given his chance.
I think they've said, right, boy, go out there and have a go, which I wasn't sure they were going to do. Jeremy was convinced.
Well, yeah, it wasn't. I bet it wasn't the case of them saying, "Okay, Alan, you go for it." I'm sure it's a case of Alan saying, "Hey, I'm going. I want to." Yeah. It would be up to them to stop him, I think.
I think you're absolutely right.
This is his warm-up lap. You're not going to miss anything. We're going for a quick break, and when we come back, hopefully we'll be riding with Alan McNish. You're back with Eurosport. No more breaks now to the end of qualifying. 22 minutes and 10 seconds still remaining. Alan McNish has just gone out. We think strapped some new tyres on. Loic Duval also is gone out, and we are waiting to see if we're going to have fireworks just before midnight. Jeremy.
Would be fun, wouldn't it, Alec? Anthony Davidson just under 3 minutes 26.3, so within a couple of tenths of the fastest car set by the car number 8 so far. It stands fourth overall. That was his first flying lap on this set of tyres, a 3:26.3. So still, 21 minutes to go in this session. There's a lot fewer cars on the track at this stage in the evening than there were last night. You know, let's see what you can do, Anthony.
Well, it's quite a clear track, actually. If you look at it, there's a lot of cars that have parked it up and said, that's as good as we're going to do. Let's just look after the cars now. Keeping in mind, a lot of these teams have put the race engine in the car already. So the last thing they're going to want to do is run the life out of them for 2 extra hours. They're not trying to complete a 26-hour race. So they'll probably get all their qualifying in, say, this is the best we can do, and let's look after it.
We're just looking for Alan McNish. The camera's trying to pick him up. There he is in the number 2 cars in the first sector. That's not him, it's the one behind, wasn't it? In the first sector of this, so we're going to try and follow that lap. Looking actually at the Morgan Judd at the moment. Olivier Pla on board still. He is second in P2. He wants to knock the Eureka Nissan of Jean Charouz off that pole top for P2.
That's right, it was John Martin who set the time in that car earlier on, but Jean Charouz, you know, he's a test driver for the Lotus team in Formula One, been around the sport a long time. He's had some good results here at Le Mans, a lot of experience. As we see Marc Genet there in the Audi pit. He is standing in for Timo Bernhard, who's still not fully recovered from that accident he had in testing at Sebring back in March.
Yeah, big accident there, and not really the right race to come back into action and to go straight into a 24-hour race, one of the hardest races in the world. So I think they've probably made the right decision there, and I know Timo wouldn't want to be back in action unless he could be absolutely 110% of what he's able to be.
So Alan McNish, nothing spectacular in that first sector, but as Jeremy said, and Liz confirmed, not much traffic. We've got most of the field in the garages at the moment, so should have a fairly clear track. But knowing Murphy's Law, you'll arrive where you've got a bunch of GTs in front of you at Mulsanne or something.
Yeah, this is the reality of sports car racing. Is no matter how clear the track can be, if you catch a GT car, and you're in a prototype at the wrong time, there's nothing you can do really about it. And I suppose that's part of what makes sports car racing so exciting. Is you do have the 4 classes of racing all at once. You've always got something to look at and some passing to go on, but in a qualifying scenario, it can make it even trickier.
Greaves Motorsport in the garage without Tom Kimber-Smith, this is, we've already mentioned.
And it looks like we're going to be able to take you to an interview with the amazing Andre Lotterer, who's been putting down such phenomenal times in this car. Let's go and hear what he has to say.
Yeah, I'm down here with Andre Lotterer, the man who set this blistering time of 3:23.787. How confident are you that this time will last on the top of the timing screen?
I don't know how much time is left. 18 minutes. I mean, you know, you never know. Somebody can go out and put a good lap time. From our cars are already competitive. My time was good. I had a clear lap. It was not my all sector's best, so could have been a little bit better. But this is Le Mans, you know. You also got to get yourself into a rhythm. You cannot just go out there and bang in time. You build up your own speed. It's so fast, everything here, that you get faster and faster without even realizing it. So, but I did my part, or we did our part. It's great if it stays like that, but it's not a drama if it doesn't.
But are you prepared, or is Marcel prepared to give a counter-attack if there's another car passing you, or is it now set and you're just running your program?
No, basically, you know, we have one go, and of course it's qualifying. You take your chance, but this is it. We're not playing like qualifying at each outing. The focus is to try to understand the best way how to use all the tires we have. At the night it's cooler, so you know it's a different working window for certain tires, and we have to optimize this, and this is what Marcel is trying now. And still we're trying on improving the car setup bit by bit. We're still in a learning curve with everything, with our hybrid system. So yeah, we have our priorities, and this is part of Le Mans.
Thank you very much.
So last year's winners, and at the moment sitting on provisional pole position with just 17 minutes to go. Loic Duval in the number 3 Audi out on track in second place. Alan McNish in the number 2 Audi in third place. And of course the big difference between the 1, 3 and the 2 is that 2 of them are hybrids and 1 is not.
Well, I think listening to Andre Lotterer there, he summed up the reality of 24-hour racing and the absolute right attitude for everything. I think what they've probably done in that car is said, right, you've got one shot to put a hybrid car on pole, which is, I'm sure, what everybody would have wanted in the Audi camp. And then he said, after that, we're just going to rein it in, and that's our one shot, and we're going to look after this car and do the work we need to do to be prepared for the 24-hour, because that really is the ultimate package, is getting the 24-hour race under control. Qualifying is great, but if you don't have your tires set up and you don't have everything under control for the race, then none of it matters.
Oh, look at this. Some nice new tires for Anthony Davidson.
Yeah, both cars are in the pits at the moment, actually. Alex Wirtz came in just a few moments ago. You see the 2 Toyotas there. Alex Wirtz came in the car number 8, which is in front there. Kazuki Nakajima has just got aboard this car. They are, as you can see, putting on a... Well, we can't see that it's a brand new set, but I'm pretty sure they are a brand new set. It is a brand new set.
It will be. Yeah, it is, definitely.
It is. Yeah, like I say, he was pretty confident he could get more time out of that car. He did I think he did a 3:26. I think he did that 3:26.5 in that car number 7 earlier in the first session today. And I talked to him afterwards. He said, you know, that we were definitely held up in several places. We think we're still making the car better. So he thinks he can find maybe another second or so, perhaps more than that. It would be cool to see that. But, you know, it's good to see at least the Toyotas out there now. They've got 10 minutes. We're in the almost inside the final 15 minutes, just over 15 minutes to go. So they've got probably time to do a couple of runs if they want to.
Oh, yes, definitely. And, you know, now is the best time for them to do it. It's so much quieter on the track than it was earlier. There's not, that I can see, any huge amounts of debris or gravel anywhere. Now is the best shot they're going to have to put a time in if they can.
Alan McNish on board with him. Talk us through this, Liz.
Well, you can just see how dark it is at Le Mans coming along through here, and how spectacular those lights are. We've seen quite a few onboard shots now with different cars, and you can see the way they just go straight together and give him a really, really bright spot right in the middle of the car, and they then turn along with him. It's amazing. They're so much brighter than all the other cars we've seen. It's actually spectacular. And also the closing speed. We can see him entering the Porsche curves, it looks like, just catching that car so fast.
Yeah, but I was talking to Martin, interesting, I was talking to Martin Brundle about that this morning. He's driving a P2 car, and he reckons that most of the P2 cars are as quick as the big P1 cars through the Porsche curves. It's a much lighter car. It's very nimble. I mean, any time for acceleration, of course, then the LP1 cars eat them for dead. But once they've turned into the corner, actually carrying speed through the corners, the P2 cars are pretty quick. But they do make up a lot of ground, particularly on the GT cars, and the lesser abled drivers in the P2 cars through the Porsche curves, let's say.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I agree with that, if I'm really honest. I think they are faster. They probably can't get around them safely at that sort of speed in the Porsche curves, because it's a part of the track that you absolutely have to be in the right place if you're going to be able to go flat out. And probably what's happening is they're in there in the Porsche curves with him, not able to do the sort of speed they would, because I've been passed on the entry to Porsche curves by, like, the really fast MP ones, and they are crazy
once you
fast.
get into the series of turns there, Martin said he's had cars go past him. He was telling me this,
and he stayed up with them,
and he stayed with them through the curves. Yeah, as soon as he come out of them, he's gone. But but certainly, those P2 cars are pretty nimble.
Well, you can just see Stefan Saracen there. He had such a big accident off his road bike. I understand he was going down the hill in training only just about a week before, or a couple days before the test weekend, and fell going downhill, landed squarely on his face. 30 stitches he had in his face, and what an amazing recovery he's made.
Yeah, you can see the mess of his face there. I saw him earlier on today. I thought, yikes.
Yeah, not
really
so
nasty.
good. And talking about the number 42 car, we've had quite a few people asking how the Alex and Martin Brundle team is getting on, and they're doing just fine. I think they've been in the pits for a while. I think they've settled in with what they have. All three drivers very happy with what they've done, and all three of them have been very, very impressive and very professional, as you would expect.
And totally concentrating on the race. That's, yeah, Martin Brundle, he knows what it takes to do well here. He's won this race before for the Jaguar team, so you know, he's back in this car. He's taking it very, very seriously. They decided about a year ago, the father and son, they were going to do this race, and since then Martin has been on a strict training regimen, as has Alex. And I hadn't seen Martin for a little while, and when I saw him just today, actually, I thought, well done, you've done a good job, because he put on a few pounds, but he looks very, very fit. He's taking it very, very seriously, and they are focusing absolutely entirely on the race. They're not looking at the lap times at all. All they're concentrating on is the consistency of the car and the consistency of their driving, is exactly as you say, and that car is going to be a factor in the race.
Oh, absolutely, and certainly in LMP2. I don't think it's that important where you put the car for the start of this race, because it's going to come down to who is reliable and consistent. And if they do consistent lap times and stay out of the pits, and other than the times they need to be, they really are going to be a contender for the win. And they're just so concentrated on this race. I got the same vibe from them when I spoke to them today. Absolutely in the right headspace.
There's a blue-purple, a blue sector 1 there for Kazuki Nakajima in car number 7. That's a best personal sector time, 32.2. That's only 0.3 of a second off what the Andre Lotterer did, I think, when he set that provisional pole time in the car number 1 Audi. And we know that the Toyota is very quick on the straights, so we're going to have to wait now for another 80 seconds or so to see what Kazuki can put together in that car number 7. But we saw them put fresh tyres on that car, and Anthony Davidson, I think, has a fresh set of Michelin boots also on the number 8 Toyota. Let's see it, boys. What you got?
Alan McNish coming into the pits. Just wonder if he's going to improve, but no, he's coming to the pits. So are they going to? They've been called in, of course, for the spot check scrutineering, and will Audi put another set of tyres on and make the most of the last 10 minutes? Who knows?
They don't really need to. It would be exciting for us, but they truly do not need to.
Would exciting for Alan, of course.
Oh no, of course. Yes, Alan loves, more than anything, to put in a qualifying lap in one of these cars.
We'll also notice both Corvettes went out. They're back in now, maybe just scrubbing in tyres. Maybe no more than that.
And it looks like we're about to have a driver change in one of the Toyota cars. We can just see in the corner of our screen there, one of the drivers waiting. I'm not entirely sure who that is.
Well, we've got Nakajima on board one and Davidson on board the other, so there's just 1 point, of course. We're talking about 10 minutes left, but Saturday morning, 30 minutes of warm-up. There's still time to do things then, aren't there?
Oh, honestly, morning warm-up is all about getting either all three drivers or just the nominated ones. Sometimes they don't, just getting them settled in and just relaxed into the car and ready to go.
Purple in sector 2 for Anthony Davidson in car number 8. He did a 32.4 through sector number 1. That's about a half a second off what the pole lap was. He's got purple, 79.3. That is a blinding lap. I made a note earlier on.
That's crazy
when Lotterer set his time, he did an 81.2 in sector 2. This is almost 2 seconds faster. Love it! Great! Exactly what we want. And Kazuki Nakajima, he did an 80.3 in that sector 2. Nakajima is ahead of the two of them on the road. We've got about another minute or so to wait until they come around.
Watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just see what the next sector time is going to be. Let's hope that it's another fastest.
Here he comes, following him just out to the Porsche curves down towards the Ford chicanes. Watch that clock. 3:23 is the benchmark. He's not going to beat that. No, but he's beaten his own time. And,
he's gone into
moves
third.
Up into third. Yeah, that's bumped Christensen down to fourth, who's now on board that McNish car. Now the number 8 car of Davidson going off for another lap, I guess.
Yeah, great stuff. Good to see. So we've now got Audi, Toyota, Audi, Toyota, and then Audi. Let's go on the pit lane one more time. Sorry, I thought we were going to an interview there.
Tom Christensen has actually gotten into the number 2 car, so I think they're just getting their drivers through there. And possibly doing a bit of work now, getting ready for the race, I think.
Now we have the angst shots. We've got the lineup of the Toyota guys, now the lineup of the Audi guys, and they're watching each other, a bit like the closing minutes of a Formula One qualifying session. But this is for real, this is proper racing, of course. And Marcel Fassler out on track at the moment. He's not going to do anything more. He's fairly safe, I think, 3:23. Even Toyota aren't going to be able to pull anything like that out of the bag, as good as Anthony Davidson is. He's 1.0 seconds off the pole. That is pretty cool, isn't it?
Well, there is still about 8 minutes left, 7.5 in fact left of this session. That is more than enough time to throw down a few more good laps.
Yeah, or even come into the pits, make one more, take on one more set, and I think get around in time to take.
And he and Nakajima both doing a 32.2 and a 32.1 in the first sector. That's still pretty quick.
It is. It is, and we know how fast the Toyotas are on the straights. So, you know, maybe there's a little bit more to come in these laps. The last time around for those two, it was a 32.4 for Anthony Davidson. It was a 32.2 this time. For Nakajima, last time was a 32.2. This time, a 32.1 for that first sector. So both just a little bit faster. Sector 2, they're running almost together on the road, those two, aren't they? They're very, very close. Both in the 79s again through Sector 2, so very, very quick. How can they put it together?
Got a running clock here on the Audi R18 Ultra number 4.
Oliver Jarvis.
He's about to come through the last chicanes and onto the straight. Let's see what he can do. It's not now. He's just going a bit quieter, I think.
Yeah, 3:26 was his previous best.
Yeah, I don't think they were actually trying to do anything there, really.
Oliver Jarvis, his second Le Mans. First 2 years ago, he was here with Collis. Car retired, unfortunately. Yeah, that's the Delta Wing, which is out on track, but not showing who's on board.
Yeah, it's claiming it was Michael Crum earlier, but I'm guessing they've probably put a different member of the team in the car now.
So, any more changes?
Big slide from there for somebody in the Porsche, in the Ford chicane. Didn't actually see who it was, but it was a huge slide coming through the exit of the Ford chicane.
And I think what we've seen a lot of this year is all the different teams struggling to get grip from those tires, as they're now really struggling in the Ford chicane. We've seen so many cars sliding around there. We've seen Sam Hancock go off, and he nearly had gone off a couple laps before. We've seen the Toyotas getting loose there. We've seen loads of cars really skitching around these slippery corners.
Oh, and the number 7 car comes across the line. Kazuki Nakajima's a 3:29. I think they both had to pass one of the Audis coming through the Porsche curves. That's a shame. I think it was the number 2 car of Tom Christensen, who was going pretty slowly, and
maybe he's doing it on purpose.
Well, I certainly hope not.
Oh dear, I'm in the way.
There's no doubt that he held up. I think it was the second car. I think it was Anthony Davidson as he came through there, the Ford chicane, going onto that lap. So that'll have messed up both the previous lap and the next one as well.
So you're suggesting that Tom was sent out as a spoiler?
Yeah, well, I'm certainly hoping not, that's for sure. But it's great to see that the Toyotas, there they are, both together, running very, very quickly. And there is Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich looking on there in the Toyota camp was...
It's Nakajima
along with,
Nakajima-san's running order they're showing. So here's a repeat of what we saw. This is Christensen coming to the chicane and not being terribly quick about leaving it.
No.
Interesting. I'm not sure. I'm going to just keep my mouth shut on that one for now, I think.
Well, they've stayed out there. They're going to do one more lap now. They've got about another, couple of minutes to go on this lap. So I don't think they haven't got time now.
Yeah, this is Arnage
to come into the pits and make another change of tyres.
No, but as you say, they can get another lap in easily.
Yeah, they could get another lap in. I think you're right. I think they'd struggle to do a tyre change. But then I wouldn't expect them to do another one at this time of night. I don't think they'd come in and put another set on when they just put some on. It would seem a bit pointless for the sake of it, I think.
Because it would be an out lap. So
yeah.
You know, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they could have come in the last lap and had time to do one more change, but now they're committed to what they've got, and so it becomes a factor. How resilient are these Michelin tyres? Generally speaking, the tyres are really good, aren't they, Liz? For laps 2 or 3 or 4, depending on where. How quickly they get the tyres up to temperature, and then they just lose that ultimate edge.
Well, it is a bit cooler right now, and also at Le Mans you don't get as much tire wear all the time because we do have the long straights, gives them a little bit of a chance to cool off. So I would have thought, since they only just put them on a little while ago, I wouldn't expect them to change again, but if they'd had more time, they may have.
It's a personal best for Luc Duval, I think, in the number 3 Audi. Who set that time originally, the 3:24?
Loic Duval.
It was. So why this will be in this session then? Best in this session, yeah. Right, let's go down. We've got another interview coming up with just 2.5 minutes left.
Alan McNish, you just got out of the car. Tom is in. Is he attacking the pole now?
No. We're just doing the last bit of race setup at the moment. Basically, we had one run at 10 o'clock, and that was it. To be honest, for us, with the way that yesterday was, I think for everybody, we decided that we were going to try and concentrate on getting a good race balance and a consistent balance. And we had a little bit of tyre program to do as well.
And how is that going for you? How happy are you with the setup of the car for the race?
Basically pretty good, quite consistent. I think the circuit's a lot better today, but also from our point of view, it's worked quite nicely. You know, we've got another day and a half before the start of the race, though.
Okay, thank you very much.
DailySportsCar.com saying traffic cost both of the Toyotas time there. They got stuck behind the 2 Audi on purpose, question mark.
Yeah, quite.
Thank you, DailySportsCar.com, by the way, all the help you're giving us. And
that's what we were talking about there. And you know, but here come the Toyotas now through the 40. Well, it's one of them anyhow. Where's the other one? Was that one of them?
Don't know. I wasn't. Well, this is the trouble with our commentary position. Unless you're sitting up really tall, you can't see the actual circuit itself. I'm afraid I was looking at the screen at that immediate point in time.
Certainly can't see the pits, which is.
I personally, I don't think we're going to see any magic between now and the end. We've got 1 minute and 3 seconds remaining. So unless we see a fastest sector time very, very soon here, we're not going to see anything special. But still, we've got a Toyota on the second row of the grid.
And the top 5 cars, which include that Toyota, covered by 1.7 seconds, which over a 13.5 kilometre circuit is sensational.
I think, considering how short the gestation period has been on that Toyota. Absolutely fantastic job by that entire organisation. It's you know, the collaboration between Germany, Japan, and France, with TMG from Cologne, from the Toyota Motor Corporation in Japan, and the Oracle organization, I should say, who's the Shonak from France here. But they provided most of the engineering for the race team, and they've you know, organized it very, very nicely indeed. They've done 4 or 5 very quick laps here. They've shown the pace of that car. It is fast. They've got the fastest sector times in the middle part of this track, Mark. And that is my hat is off to those guys. Tremendous effort. We don't know. I think the car isn't quite as quick through the final sector as the Audis. There was some traffic, I think, as well, but still, that is an effort for which they can be extraordinarily proud.
Well, the checkered flag is out. That's the end of the session. No more track action until the race day now.
Yeah, and Anthony Davis is still another quick lap here. We'll have to see as he comes into the final couple of corners whether he has a clear run, because again he's in the 79s through the sector 2, which is very, very fast.
I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, but I think what we're going to see is Toyota making a bid to lead this race for a little bit of the time, and Audi staying very, very cool. I don't think they're going to go mad at the start of the race. I think they're going to be cool. That's what I think will happen this year, because they will know, as well as we all do, that most likely, if they can keep all 4 cars together and consistent, then all 4 of them could very likely finish at the top. And that is exactly what Dr. Ulrich would love to see.
Remember, Audi's been coming here for 14 years now. This is all new for this particular Toyota lineup. German chassis, Japanese engine, French team. They've got to bring everything together, and what a job they've done tonight, as Jeremy says.
Absolutely.
Jubilation there at Luxury Racing.
Yeah, what an amazing pole position for them, and we've not seen that change for ages now. The top 3 there in GT Pro. It's Ferrari, Aston, and Corvette. What a nice mixture.
Here come the Toyotas through the Ford chicane for the final lap of their qualifying run. They're going to come up to the line, Mark.
Yep, and
92.7, a personal best, and an improvement there for Anthony Davidson.
24.8 is done. Yeah,
not quite enough.
Great effort, absolutely fantastic. A 26.5 for Kazuki Nakajima. 24.8 for Anthony Davis.
Which means 1 second covering the top 3 cars. That is so close. 2 Audis and a Toyota.
Yeah, wow. 1.7 over the Traverse 5. That's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great stuff. That was fun.
Just to remind you, the P2 pole goes to the 25 Oreca Nissan, which Jan Charez has been on board for the last half hour or so. That's the car that was put on pole, I believe, by John Martin. It was John Martin, wasn't it, the Australian? And Tor Graves, the Thai driver, he's the 3rd driver there, British-based. And down your end, Liz, yes, Dominic Farnbacher in the 59 luxury car. That was put on pole by Fred Makovicky. And Spencer Pumpelly, got the name right this time.
It was Patrick Pile that put that on that car on pole.
Patrick Pile.
And that was yesterday. Early on yesterday, they put that car on pole, and nobody's been able to touch it.
No, and it remains the fastest of all of the Porsches.
Thank you for today, and see you back on
Saturday.
Race control will stay around for a few minutes more, but then it will go off.
So race director having his last words of the evening. I presume they're still waiting to see Sergei Ara, who was summoned to them some time ago, if they can find him. In comes the number 1 car, our pole position car.
Was an improvement for Peter Dumbreck on the last lap as well for JRM in the HBD chassis, a 335.4, so a little bit of bragging rights. He gets back ahead of Dominic Kreiheimer in the Oak Pescarola, so a bit of bragging rights there, and he moves up to 11th place overall.
So Dr. Ulrich very pleased with their 2 days of work, well, 3 days of course, including the test day, to get to this point. And hopefully Seb, our own Seb, not Sebastian Buemi, will be catching up with him to get the word on all that. Of course, Marc Duval,
well, I think
Fassler, Andre Lotterer, all the centre of media attention at the moment.
the big deal right now is it is a hybrid car on pole for the first time ever at Le Mans. Well, I think it's the first time ever, this sort of hybrid anyway.
Dr. Ulrich, the first row is an Audi row, and the first position, the pole position, the e-tron. Everything went according to plan?
I have to say we could work today without any problems. We've been running through our program, and all cars did just one try to go really for a fast lap. It's fine that at the end it's like this, and that e-tron Quattro is a little bit ahead as we thought it would be. But I also have to say that the lap of Loic Duval was a really good one with the Ultra. So all the team did a great job. The guys from Toyota were pushing hard at the very end. We knew that they are strong. We are close together, so it's a good start to the race.
What do you expect for the race from your opponents from Toyota? They're trailing you with 1 second in qualifying, but what do you expect from them in the race?
I mean, I think we've been working very concentrated for the race, and I think we should have good race cars, and that's important.
Okay, thank you very much.
So to Wolfgang Ulrich, as we said, good work done tonight. And there is Andre Lotterer, again, the man of the weekend. I mean, he's just been so fast all weekend. Fastest in practice yesterday, fastest last night. Didn't quite make it fastest in the first part of tonight's qualifying, but he's come back with a vengeance at the end, and mightily impressive.
Yeah, just that final sector, not quite the quickest. I think it's just in that final sector that the Toyotas lost perhaps any opportunities to go for the pole. But as I say, look at that, there are other final times to get within a tad over 1 second. Very, very impressive, and that's a good-looking car that Toyota's put together, and boy, it is fast.
And I don't think we'll quite be seeing those sort of lap times in the actual race. I think like I've said, I think we're going to see a very cool and collected Audi performance this year. Not that we never do, because we always do, but I don't think we're going to see quite the thrash we've had at the beginning of the race when there's been Peugeot to contend with.
Yeah, Jeremy just pointing out to us the 29th place is the Zero Delta Wing at Nissan. Great performance by them. They wanted to be in the top 20, but didn't quite make it. Anyway, we will be back on Saturday morning, warm up at 8 o'clock British time, 9 o'clock Central European time, followed by the Group C race. And So just to let you know, there's the 24 minutes of Le Mans coming up tomorrow, Friday. Make sure you catch that. And then Saturday morning, we are live in the morning with the warm-up, then the Group C race. There it is. Catch that, 22:15 Central European time, 21:15 UK time. And Jeremy Shaw, Liz Halliday, Carlton Kirby, myself, Mark Coe. What a great evening we've had. Yeah, they're absolutely lost for things. Look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for being with us on Eurosport. Catch you soon.